Jamaica was an incredibly fertile place. It was possible to go and make recordings with live musicians very cheaply compared to the rest of the world. That's why Paul Simon went there. That's why the Rolling Stones went there, to record in good studios with a vibe.
For me, the first dub tune I ever heard was a song called Third Stone from the Sun on the Jimi Hendrix album, Are You Experienced? Right? I mean, when you hear that, you listen to that, that's dub.
In the case of the Dub Side of the Moon album, it had a certain natural, mellow flow to it that it didn't seem like that far of a jump to visualize a reggae version of it.
I think that, you know, dub is more known to people that are making music maybe than the general public. It's because of the techniques that have been used, and you discover that when you get into your recording, you know, and you start using echoes and listening to records, and people that are interested in production of music, you know, value that type of music a lot more.
I mean, for me, it was actually kind of early electronic music that got me interested in dub. Like, you know, when I'm not old enough to have been around when Lee Scratch Perry and King Tubby were starting doing their thing, but it was like likes of Massive Attack and Left Field and their kind of take on dub influences in their electronic music that made me interested in dub and look back.
Like Prodigy and that took samples like Out of Space, which is Prodigy, a massive influence in dance music.
And that was a Lee Scratch Perry produced tune that they sampled it from.
The sort of like early disco days when you would have people like Larry Levan doing mixes of vocal records, and then they would kind of do a version that was more instrumental but would have a hint of the vocal in there, which was then called the dub version.
Electronic music uses a lot of dub style delays and on vocals and snares and effects, which we're so used to now that maybe if it hadn't been for dub, maybe they wouldn't be so sort of commonplace.
The people who started to make dub abused the instruments, you know. So you had a delay, you had a reverb, but it was meant to do something natural, you know. You put a reverb on just to make you know, give a voice a space, you know. In dub, you just push the reverb up so it makes an explosion.
Dub's influence on dance music is a lot more than just heavy bass lines and little echoed guitar stabs and this kind of thing. It's much more to do with a set of practices, versioning, remixing, and using effects, without which dance music wouldn't have happened at all.
Sometimes with music,